So I'm on Twitter and people are talking about the stimulus and saying like Donald Trump is talking about not voting for it, not approving it until after he wins in November 2020. And so some people are crying. I'm on Twitter looking at it. I'm tweeting a little bit, and I decided to play the devil's advocate, and like I'm like, oh, I'm a little baby. I just want the government to give me free money, kind of thing. And somebody commented back and said, you do realize that we pay the government. I realize that, and Donald Trump has been reducing taxes and regulations and as many things as he can. He's been making some things better, and a lot of things have been improved, and it's an ongoing battle. But the guy replied, and he said like, you realize that, if you do that, that means no police, no hospitals, no nothing, none of these things that we need, that we have to have, all these different things and welfare. And he mentioned a couple different things, and I'm like, we want to reduce, not eliminate, not erase, not eradicate. That's what I was trying to say, and I was trying to be a little bit more subtle. The word of the day is subtle, and I was trying to say those things, and I usually do say those things. A lot of people do, and it's very simple. You want to minimize, you want to reduce corruption in government and make it more transparent and honest and accountable for the stuff that they have, for what they do, that the money actually go to where it needs to go, kind of thing. And at the same time, I said we got to put more stuff on the free market as much as possible. Like even private security is on the free market. People have companies, and you can go and pay for the services of having a bodyguard, having some kind of a guy at your party, at your bar. You have some kind of bouncer. That's a private security kind of thing, and you have private property, and it's very valuable to decentralize as much as possible, especially in the United States. I'm not going to try to speak on the behalf of other countries, but when we're talking about a country like America, you got to think very simple. What is America fundamentally with 7076? Like, how did it start? What is it fundamentally? It's a United States of America, meaning different states coming together, and that means local governments, state and local and federal. But more importantly, I would try to emphasize on each group of people or each landlord being their own country to an extent, or absolutely. I would try to stress on the absolute, which would mean anarchy in a fashion, but not the kind of anarchy that you may be aware of, but the good kind, not the bad kind. But there's a difference. It would take a while to explain, but suffice to say, you should have your own private property. Or if you do, then you do. I can't really say that everybody can, but let's say hypothetically you do have land, you have a farm, you have some property, that should be yours. And bigger governments, local or state or federal government or international government or anything else, should not be able to just take it. Or they should at least go through a bunch of things if they want eminent domain, if they want to do something to try to take it because they need to build something or do something on the land. Very important, like for the environment, or they need to build a train on your land passing through your land. You need to build some kind of warehouse or a Walmart on your land. They should compensate and give you a bunch of time so that you can relocate. They should give you 10 times the value of the land to make it very difficult. At the very least, I would make it very, very difficult. But if I had my own way, I would totally erase that possibility. Of course, then you run into the problem of you have to enforce it if you are your own country, like you own land and you're the king of that kingdom kind of thing. But there should be some kind of compromise, which actually there is to an extent, but it should be in a way, in an effect, like we should emphasize on trying to bring back private property rights as much as possible. And why would you not? As much as I like welfare, like getting free money, getting a stimulus package kind of thing, it's like it could be nice, but at the same time, it's not really the job of the government. It has been the job of government for too long, especially after the 1930s, but we got to bring it back kind of thing to where we take care of each other kind of thing. If we choose to, not being forced to, people can choose to give welfare to each other in the community, the neighborhood, the city, wherever it is, your friends, your family, clubs and groups, and you fill in the blank. People can come together if they want to and help certain kinds of people if they want to in certain situations. They can have programs and sponsorships, and it shouldn't be run by the government kind of thing. It should be run by we the people, by the people, for the people. Government should be limited to doing certain things that are really required to keeping outside countries from invading mostly and not being inside policing. The people should be able to police themselves or at least vote on letting the government police them if they choose to, but then they should always have the ability to come together and protest and be able to say, we don't want this much, or we don't want you guys to do certain things in the whatever taxes we give to you, regulations, whatever kind of policing that we allow you to do unto us, we should be able to have a say, and like we the people kind of thing should have the say and be able to regulate and vote every 4 years, every 2 years, however often as we choose to. We should be able to have that ability to keep on customizing to a degree through a republic, through a democracy. Not so much democracy, depending on the kind of democracy that we're talking about, but more of a republic, depending on who you allow to vote and the different mechanisms and the balancing of government that you have in place for a country, especially a country like the United States of America, kind of thing. And it's like people should desire to regulate tyranny as much as possible, because if you don't try your best to regulate the tyranny, then the tyranny regulates you.